back in your life like a slow lap car in turn 4 that you shouldn't anyway, and you crash on the final lap. This is the Educated Ignorance Podcast, back and better than ever. Well, I mean, who knows? Max here, so it probably is going to be an okay show, I guess. We are here. We are going fast and turning left. We are going to hope that we are not. We are going to hope that we are as good as Joseph Newgarden on final laps and not Jared Hildenbrand. We want to thank everybody hanging out with us. The return is here. It is Indy 500 weekend. We are here to talk racing and racing only, and damn anybody who tries to tell us to do differently. I'm joined by some good friends and even some great ones. First off, Andrew from the Green White Checkered podcast. We just did his show. We are doing some we're doing the double.
We're doing the double.
I don't know which one is the Coke 600. I mean, we should have we could reverse it. Do you guys think we should sing Back Home Again in Indiana before this?
Oh,
Maybe
God.
we can. I don't know. One of us can. And then
we should at least play a recording of Jim Corneliuson doing it.
Listen, hey, I'm here. I don't know, man. We can't. If we're gonna do it, we got Jim Corneliuson's goated. But if we're gonna play a recording, I think it has to be the OG himself, Mr. Neighbors.
I think
but
you should have
God
just
rest his
opened
soul.
the show with you singing it.
Honestly,
just out of nowhere, you just sing it.
And then let it rip. I'll have the penguin back there have his way. We're also joined by my good friend Mac Fulton. He is decked out. This is like a Ricky Bobby gimmick almost, showing up with all these sponsors. Where's my me with the cougar on the hood? The Indy 500 hat, which is pretty dope. Is that last year's hat?
No, it's the 107, so 23.
2 years ago. Okay, really cool. Decked out in some Ryan Blaney nice little shirt there. Looking. So he's part of Andrew's world. Andrew's got I didn't even notice until midway through the show we did on his channel the entire ass bumper he has on his wall.
Yeah.
So
powered by bacon.
There, yeah, exactly. Shout out to that one. So we're all here. I have a diecast in this room somewhere, probably. If I looked hard enough, I'd probably be able to find it, but I don't want to get up right now because I'm old. So we're here to talk some Indy 500. It's something that for me, I don't talk a whole lot about motorsports on the podcast. Just it's not my lane to. I'm a enjoyer from afar. I wouldn't consider myself a casual because it's probably the thing that I've actually been a fan of the most in my life. But when it comes to, discussing it, other people are probably better at it than me, just like my friend Andrew here. He talks about it on a platform more than I do. But for stuff like this, the occasion, well, I got to let my casualness come out a little bit. We're going to talk some Indy 500. We're going to talk about the weekend that happened last week with qualifying, give some predictions, all of that stuff. Let's kick things off here, and we'll go to Mac because Andrew and I have listened to each other for the last hour now, so we'll get a fresh voice on the scene. Mac, it says another Indy 500 year. Just talk about to us, we've gone through this show together for the last few years now, where we previewed this race. Mm-hmm. What does Indy mean to you as a fan of the sport of motorsports?
I mean, honestly, every year we come around at this time, it's just there's something in the air that makes you so engaged with the sport. But Indy, in its own way, I think is the perfect epitome. It epitomizes motorsports the best. It's very raw. You get all the fans in place. Doesn't matter where you come from. It's just everybody loves it, and it's the big party at the end of the day. So, I mean, what's more American than that, right?
There you go. Proud to be, et cetera, et cetera. Andrew, you kind of mentioned you've gone a few times. You're going again this year. Talk about, as a fan, even as someone who's been you're primarily a NASCAR fan, but talk about the Indy 500, what it means to you, and the things you enjoy the most, especially being someone who's a frequent attender of the at the Speedway.
Yeah. So, obviously I'm a NASCAR fan, so Indy's kind of, I don't pay attention to it much. But the Indy 500 in itself is just on a whole another level. It is the pinnacle of motorsports. You see one drivers that have come down and race the Indy 500. You get NASCAR drivers, you get guys from all over the place, right? A lot of foreign guys are in the race now. It's just you get this mix of drivers that are just kind of the best that you can get. And then when it comes to 250,000 fans and the craziness there, like I don't even know how to explain it. The atmosphere of this race is insane. You have a rave going on in the infield of the race with pyrotechnics going off as the cars are just racing. Like it is insane. And everybody once in their lifetime, race fan or not, needs to go to the Indy 500 just to experience it. Dale Jr. was talking on Fox last week during the All-Star race, NASCAR All-Star race, and he said the same exact thing. And it's so true. It is just surreal when you get there. IndyCar's got a really good like access for fans before the race where you can go down right behind the pit stalls and they got a bunch of stuff set up. It's so cool. Like as a motorsports fan, it is a must attend for me. And I try to go as often as I can.
I think I saw the stat earlier. It was what 1 in 1,100 people in the US will be in Indianapolis for that race. So the concentration of people that flock to the track is just insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And this year, for the first, they come close to it. I don't know when the last time they actually had an official one was, but it's a sellout this year, which is crazy.
350,000 fans sold out.
Yeah, it's people don't understand how big of an event this is. People don't understand how big of a day this is, and how big, this little town in Indiana. It's hosted. It's the biggest sporting event on planet Earth from a perspective of gathering wise, and it means just as much to compete in it and to try to win the thing. For me, I've talked about this before. My father and I I got into racing because of him. He was, he was the driving force to why I became a racing fan. We went to multitudes of races for the IndyCar series when I was a kid. I always wish I could have gone to the 500, but we never were able to. One day, I'm sure that'll be something that we do as a friend group, maybe, obviously. But my dad no longer with us. But regardless, it's something that I still watch all the time. I've loved it, and this day itself, it's a day that it's emotional for me every year, and just in general. And I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be such an awesome day. We're going to talk about all the different corners and aspects, but the thing that I think about the most really is, the coolest stuff. We talked about all the people that go, and you talked about the atmosphere, Andrew, of the race, and the stuff that I always adore is who can become an overnight sensation, who can become a hero in a day. You could show up on the grounds at Indianapolis at noon or at 10 in the morning, and by 6 p.m. For a weekend on a weekend night, you are your new favorite person alive is someone you didn't even know existed 8 hours ago. And I'm segueing this into, of course, the pole winner on Sunday, capping off what was one of the more intense and just dramatic qualifyings that I can remember in quite some time, with Robert Schwartzman from Prema Racing winning the pole at the Indy 500. Mac, help me out here. I can't think of one as good as this in a while. You obviously had last year with McLaughlin breaking the record, which was set by Palou 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 years ago was, I believe, the closest front row in Indy 500 history. All three guys over 234. But just in general, the dramatic shock of this, it's been quite some time since we've gotten it. And Robert Schwartzman became, a guy that nobody really probably knew or had cheered for before. And on Sunday night, he had that entire city in the palm of his hands. They loved every minute of what happened on Sunday night in qualifying.
Yeah, and I mean, to touch on that, I mean, I think the biggest reason why this year felt the way it did, I mean, we didn't have the speed like we had in recent years, like the 234s. It was all felt like it was a very attainable speed to get, regardless of what happened. But when you saw like Scott Dixon go out there in the Fast Six and just rolls out like a low 232, you're like, okay, Schwartzman, like this is his chance because what he did in the Fast 12. I just think that just gave a lot more intensity to it, being that he was one of the later ones to go. But yeah,
it was pretty crazy the way that it built up and him being able to do it. Andrew, thinking about just what he was able to do, kind of touch on, your thoughts overall and what you were paying attention to on Saturday when it came to qualifying. And for me personally, just to add on, like I'm still just thinking of the day I went into it, like he's got a shot. I figured he had a shot after Saturday when he posted the speeds he did. Maybe he got a little bit of a luck of the draw because Saturday he got out in the morning, but I was like, oh, this is good enough to get in. He was, and then what he was able to do on Sunday was magnificent. It's something I'll never forget, no matter what he does Sunday in the race. I'll never forget what happened 4 days ago.
Yeah, it like half of me was like, oh, it's beginner's luck, right? You don't know to be scared. He hasn't hit the wall at 230 miles an hour, so he's just going at it. But then the other half's like, he's a road course expert, and you have to hit your marks, just like on a road course. You have to know when to lift and all that. So it's like it's skillful, and it kind of, in a way, reminds me of when SVG went out and won the Chicago road course race for NASCAR. It's just this guy you don't expect to be there, and things just kind of went the right way. Where like in the NASCAR race, it rained and kind of leveled the playing field, and in this, the speeds weren't off the charts, and it kind of just the splits between them were a lot closer than we've seen kind of in the past. It just allowed this. He's an underdog in my opinion, and he just went out there, he got it, and it's really awesome to see.
I'll say, and to add to that, I mean, we can't forget, Joe, you and I talked about this all the week leading up to it. On Tuesday, first practice, he only ran 6 laps.
The team as a whole ran 18.
Yeah. So the buildup from Tuesday to that, like, it just shows you the astronomical gains that they had leading and going into this race.
Now, I think that they set their car up for qualifying. I don't know how much they set it up to run in traffic. I think that he looks good at from what I was seeing in practice, especially on Monday. I think Schwartzman has a car that is really good leading a pack. I don't know if it's good in a pack, so we'll see. But regardless, the other huge news that kind of dwarfed Sunday was the Penske disqualification, the tech inspection gone wrong. I kind of wanted to pitch this out, and we'll see. Andrew and I were going to talk about it on his show. I figured, we didn't get to it, so let's pitch it here. Andrew, I'll start with you. As someone on the outside, what was your initial thought, and kind of what did, in your mind, do you think we'll talk just the penalty initially before we talk about like the dismissal of Cindric and company, but just the penalty in general and what they landed on. Did you agree with it? Did you disagree with it? What were your thoughts?
So my first initial thought was, I knew it. I've been saying Penske has been cheating in NASCAR for the playoffs, and they never inspect their cars, and I don't know why. And then they go out and, I mean, come on, Roger owns the series, he owns the track, and they're winning the 500. It's like, come on. And
they had a scandal literally at the beginning of last year that they got caught red-handed, and guys got suspended.
But it was like a slap on the wrist, though. Yeah. It was still a slap on the wrist.
And that one was worse than this, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one actually was performance-based. This one was not.
Yep. It was push to pass, right? They had unlimited push to pass or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Penske cars got unlimited push to pass. One of them won the race.
Yeah. But it's just, I'm not surprised. But then it was like they come out with the penalties and they're like, oh, well, we're just going to move them to the back of the Fast 12. And it's like, what? Like, no, that's bullshit. Like, put them in the back. And they ended up doing that anyways. But it's just like, oh, man. At first, it was like, just because they own the series and the track, you're not going to penalize them that harsh. And it's like, I was ready to just kind of blow up about it. The penalties, I know it's better. And now you see Tim Cindric and them get let go. They'll be back. Roger and Tim, there's something going on there. They're like best buddies. So he'll get hired on the NASCAR side again. Yeah.
Cindric's going to go get
crazy.
Cindric's going to go take over Ray Hall Letterman, bro. What are you talking about? God knows they need it. No, I'm with you. I'm glad that they moved him to the rear. It's what needed to happen. I don't think I'm Jacob Abel. I understand your week was awful, but I tip the cap to you, my friend, to say you didn't earn the right to be in the field. You don't think that you should have been handed a spot. What I have argued, if they would have done, if that, I don't, I don't mind that they didn't put the Penske's in the last row shootout or anything like that. It's weird to me, Mac, that it was on the 2 and the 12, but not the McLaughlin car. Very weird.
Well,
not sure how that pans out, but
just who's the team strategist? Tim Cindric was the 2-car strategist. And Powers, the same guy who got suspended last year, was still the strategist for that. So it kind of tracks. McLaughlin didn't have any issues. Like, yeah, his car may have had some, but it wasn't like the push to pass really wasn't centered around his car.
I am intrigued. I think too, if you had to imagine, they probably failed Tech on Saturday. They should have failed Tech on Saturday as well. That's the thing. Don't you believe?
They should have.
They should have. That's the thing.
They didn't catch it though.
But they should have failed Tech on Saturday.
They were like their Tech on Saturday, I guess, was more for performance parts and not safety parts.
From what I heard, the initial thing that I heard and saw was that Chip Ganassi caught it and told them to look at it.
Yeah, one of his team members, one of their team members did. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are in IndyCar that are mad about it, and kind of with what Andrew said too. Like, I was very intrigued on your, because Mac and I talked about this all weekend, and I was intrigued on your take. For part of me thought that you were going to be like, I know that you're we talked about NASCAR, how you were able to do stuff, building your own and whatnot. And IndyCar is a spec series, more or less, but more than less, obviously. I was really curious on your take, but you agree with us, and I think it's the fact that Penske last year gets caught for cheating, then all of a sudden, after kind of being washed at Indy for the last 2 years, even though Newgarden had a great car and drove through the field, not through the field, but he started 13th and was able to kind of find his way to win in 2023, though they had to kind of sort of really very much screwed Marcus Ericsson in doing so for him to win in 2023. Then they have the push to pass scandal. Then all of a sudden they show up to Indy and whoopsie daisy, they're the 3 fastest cars by like an entire mile per hour. Like, no one can touch them. And then one of them wins the race. Newgarden winning last year, even though I think he absolutely earned it much more than he did the year before, it made me sick. I hated everything for at least 24 hours. But
was it because he won, or was it because he beat Pato?
A bit of both. I think after all that happened, I think it was like they shouldn't. Like, it just felt gross that one of them won.
Yeah.
It could have been Power or it could have been McLaughlin. I would have felt gross. A bit of it will feel gross in a sense still now if one of them wins. You can kind of argue if Newgarden does get a three-peat by going from the back of the field and being the first 11th row guy to win the race, like, that would be pretty cool. But that's really the only thing Penske-wise that I have any cheer for. Because if Newgarden somehow found a way to win still, I can't even be like, Guy, I think, I mean, unless they did it, maybe they're still cheating. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, so put this out there for you then, Joe, or in both of you guys. If the drivers wouldn't have pushed back as much as they did this year, like Award and Ray Hall and all those guys, after they found out it happened, do you think the penalty would have been as substantial as it was?
I think so, yeah. I think Doug Bowles did a fantastic job. I do think he had a lot of pressure, Andrew, from the paddock, because you got to think Penske's a Chevy car. Honda with this hybrid, Honda was going to leave the series, but IndyCar relented and let them like bring this hybrid in. And you know that they're pissed that this is happening. And you also know that they're pissed that a legal Honda missed the race and at least two illegal Chevys made it. So you got to know they're pissed about that. But I think Bulls probably would have got here regardless. And I give him credit for, as people have called it this week, Andrew, separating church from state in IndyCar, which has been kind of funny to hear people call it that. But regardless, I think that they did the right thing, and I think, I do think they would have got there eventually. Well, what about you? What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think they would have got there eventually. I think they did the right thing at first with kind of just being like, we're gonna penalize them. We're not 100% sure how far yet. And then even with that though, they got so much pushback from the fans and the other drivers, the teams. It's just like, okay, it's gonna come that it's gonna be a bigger penalty. But I mean, they said right from the get-go they're going to look into it even farther. And I mean, you look at the car last year, it had the same thing done, the winning car. So it's not new. They had it Saturday. Yeah. I think they made the right call though.
I
Yeah,
will
it's the
say
thing.
though, the
Go ahead, Matt.
Penske reasoning behind it was one of the dumbest reasons I've ever heard why they do it that way. They said because Roger likes things look nice. That was their
Yeah, they're
reason.
like, it's like it's a safety part. But I saw someone talk about how soldering that piece or welding it together, like, also
it
has something.
compromises it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has something to do with wing flex as well, because that part isn't moving as much. I don't know how true that is or not, but that's something that I saw. I do think that the push to pass for infraction is much more serious than this, because it's like, imagine if an F1 car was just able to drive to race with DRS open the entire fucking time. I mean, that's pretty much what the push to pass was. But I think, moving into the fact, we'll tie the bow on this with this happening, and then Cindric being forced out, and a couple other guys as well. I think that this is the right landing spot in a very, very contentious time in IndyCar. It's a very political aspect in IndyCar right now. You have your H's and your bow ties. What side are you going to land on? And right now, I think
will say
everybody
though,
is against Penske.
the one good takeaway from all this is that Penske announced that they're going to form the independent governing body for the series. I think that was a good first step.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. They had to.
I'm surprised they haven't done that before. I mean,
yeah, it's weird on how certain things have been ran in IndyCar. This is obviously a bit of a different aspect, and it's weird because it's like this happens, and then the one team who actually gets hit with two scandals in less than a year and a half, and it's both the team, and both of them, and it's the team that like owns the sport. It's pretty crazy how that all happened, but
yeah,
in a perfect world, none of the Penske cars wins Sunday, and we don't have this week. I mean, because I think it would probably leave a bit of a dark mark on the weekend as a whole.
Yep.
And what's been a very, very bright month of May for IndyCar, I think if one of the Penske cars win, I think that would be a bit of a damper.
Yeah. Roger, I think, also tells his teams to push the envelope, just because we see it in NASCAR too, where Logano got a penalty because he had it was basically a baseball mitt.
Oh yeah,
And he would,
the webbed glove.
yeah. And so it's stuff like that, they push the envelope, and if they get caught, they get caught, and they just don't care, I don't think.
The baseball glove, the webbed glove, Mac, is like the funniest NASCAR thing that I can think of in the last decade.
It's so
one of them.
small. It's such a small thing, but like the more you look into it, like it makes perfect sense.
I mean, all the drivers put their hand up anyways, so hey, let's just make my hand big. And it's like, oh, great.
Let's make sure no air can come through my hand at all. So moving forward, let's talk about I'm curious, Mac and I have gone back and forth on some of our favorite 500s over the year. Andrew, you've gone, what number will this be for you?
This will be 4.
Okay. And so you went to this year. What were the other ones you went to?
It's every other year. So 23, 21, 19.
Okay. So you saw Simon Pagenaud win in 19?
Yes.
Okay. And then you saw maybe question mark the greatest Indy 500 of all time, 2021? Maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet that was surreal.
It was great. I mean, just the whole last lap, everything, like, again, the atmosphere of the place. Everybody went wild, crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. It's different though when you're in the stands too, because you can't really see everything going on. You're just like, and I don't even know how to explain it, but it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But I think if I'm watching on TV, I might be a little more excited just because I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
where do you guys sit at?
So we've always been in turn 4. This year we'll be in turn 1.
Okay, I've heard turn 1's a great spot.
Yeah,
if I had to probably pick where I would go, it would probably be turn 1.
Yeah, I was tired of getting sunburned every year, and then of course this year it's going to be not hot, so that's cool. I'll be under the awning though, so yeah.
There you go. Mac, what's your what if going into this weekend? What is the what so far has been in your time with IndyCar, your relationship with the sport? What's your favorite 500 moment?
I mean, I think you honestly opened with it. Talking about J.R. Hildebrand going in the 4 and crashing, and Dan Weldon, the late Dan Weldon, winning the race. And I think that was, I mean, like you said before, we talked about it, like the race maybe as a whole, it wasn't the greatest leading up to that, but the final 50-ish laps were incredible.
Anytime the 500 gets the final pit stop sequence, green flag, it's a banger. 2016, same thing. The 2016 finish where it was Joseph Newgarden and Carlos Munoz, and Newgarden was driving an Ed Carpenter car, and Carlos Munoz was one of the Andretti cars, and they were going at it. And Carlos Munoz, man, I feel for him because that guy was good enough to win one of these races, and he just didn't. I hope Pato O'Ward does not become a Carlos Munoz / Tony Kanaan. I hope that he does not have that path, and I hope he wins one sooner than later. Maybe he wins it Sunday. We'll see. Maybe one of us will predict him to win. We'll see. 2016 though, you have that frantic finish, or you have the frantic last stint, and then all of a sudden Alex Rossi's going 100 miles an hour, literally, which usually that's fast, but what we're talking about, folks, it is not. He was going 100 miles an hour over the finish line to win the race, to have this miraculous last fuel stint to win. So yeah, anytime you get that like last year's race, the last 60 or so laps were under green, and I hated Newgarden winning, but it was an amazing race.
That pass,
like the last 50 laps were wild. Like
and it was
with The pass was crazy.
After
Newgarden versus Award versus Rossi. Like Scott Dixon came out of nowhere and was like, "Oh my God, he's fourth. How is he fourth? He's been terrible all day. He almost killed Ryan Hunter-Reay. Why is he in fourth place?" It was amazing.
Outside of like Castroneves winning and like what he does, I think Newgarden does though have like one of the best victory celebrations though for Indy.
Oh my God, yeah, he does. It is really cool.
Yeah.
The going into the stands.
Nothing can match Helio, but Castroneves
No, and
is
to say
one
that
of a kind, but
to say we were all alive, and Andrew to say he was there, for God's sakes, to see a 4-time winner, pretty damn cool. And that race, I think that's the greatest race. I think that's the greatest one of all time. There were two cautions the entire race. The entire last like 170 laps were green. It was amazing.
And that race, man, I remember correctly. That one broke Graham Rahal. It broke him.
He might have if that didn't happen, he might have won. He was gonna be in the pack. He was gonna be in it to win it. And man, the left rear tire changer forgot to tighten forgot to put the tire on, and he binned it coming out of the pits, and he hasn't qualified better than 28th since. Poor bastard.
And missed the field once. So
and got bumped.
Well, he missed it, but then actually got to go. But
Yeah.
So moving on now, as we look into this weekend and some predictions. Letting it up. Who are some, what are some storylines? What are some things that you're paying attention to as the drivers that, you have a beat for? Mac, we'll start with you. Maybe don't give your complete prediction right away, but what are the things, maybe a couple of the storylines within the race that you're looking for the most to see, who's going to come out on top here?
So I think the biggest one is how is the guys in backup cars going to do? So like Colton Herta and Scott McLaughlin, I want to see how that car can actually run in the race. Like we know how fast the Yellow Submarine was before he crashed, but I mean I want to see what they can do with the field. And then Herta, it's not uncharted waters for this team, sadly. So if they can respond in a good way, I think they still have a competitive car, even though they're starting in the back of the pack.
The difference between this year and the other year that he crashed and flipped on carb day and had to put a road course car together in 24 hours. This year, at least, he has, they qualified that car on merit day of after the crash. So I do agree. The thing, one of the things, Andrew, for me that's like go crazy is like we talked a little bit about it and we joked a little bit about it on your show. It's like a mini reversed grid. You have Schwartzman on pole, Takuma Sato racing for Rahal, which that team has been awful at Indy, except for him in the last couple of years. Sato is starting second. You have the Ganassis up front, but you've got the Andretti cars. I thought Kyle Kirkwood going into Saturday was the dark horse to win the race. And then he rolls Saturday and the car couldn't. It was a boat. So that was, I was floored. Herta crashes. 2 of the 3 Penske cars starting on row 11. So I do think, the 2 Hunkos cars are in the middle of the field. Daly's 13th. I gave Connor Daly away as a long shot on Andrew's pod about an hour ago. So go check that out. 36-1, depending on where you get it. So for the first time in a while, I think that there's a lot of cars that are really, really good deeper in the field for one reason or another. And I'm so excited to see how this translates to the race. I can't wait to see how that happens, Andrew. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to when it comes to the race Sunday?
Well, yeah. So like you said, inverted field. How's Newgarden and them going to be able to make their way through the field? Are they going to be able to get to the front? Are they going to struggle in the dirty air? Are they just going to kind of bide their time and wait for other people to just screw up so they get those positions? That's going to be really interesting to see these fast guys that are in the back try to work their way up. But being the NASCAR guy I am, obviously I'm watching Kyle Larson. I want to see what he's going to do. He's running the double. I think he's got speed. I think we've seen him struggle. He's wrecked twice, over the last 2 weeks. And I think that's just him being over the rookie experience. He's got a fast car. He's pushing it to the edge. He's also struggling. He did say that. He says it's very on edge. But that's what Kyle Larson's used to racing. All these dirt track cars and just doing the stuff he does. He's finding the edge. And if he can put it together on Sunday, he's got a shot. The McLaren cars are fast. They got some speed. It'll be interesting.
Mac, I mentioned to Andrew, I think Larson definitely had a better car last year. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, he set the rookie record for fastest lap for qualifying, and qualified 6th. I do think, though, him running Indy last year, and then the way and I said this to Andrew on his show, the way he carved through the field at the Brickyard 400, it's different racing, but in the sense it's the same because of how you have to race at Indy. I think in race trim, I think he's going to be very, very good. Does he have the car? I don't know. Is he starting too deep in the field? Very possible. If he qualified in the top 15, I'd be willing to pick him. Because in practice, I've really liked what he's done. Like Monday, I thought he looked awesome in race pace. But he just might be a little bit too deep in the field. Is he crafty enough to catch a break when it comes to a pit sequence? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If those are the questions I want to have, I'm trying to answer to myself, Mac, but that's what's keeping me from really thinking that this year he's got a legitimate chance to do it. If he was starting in the 4th row, I'd be like, dude, he could do this. But because he's starting to look like in the 20s, it's going to be a little tougher in my mind.
I agree with that. I mean, he's going to start 19th with the penalty.
Yeah, that's a good point.
From the 2 Penske cars. But I still think he is a little too far back. I do think from the start he hasn't been, like you said, the most comfortable with this car. And I think it's because these are 2 different cars from last year to this year. I mean, the engine's different. A lot of things are different here. So he's trying to get on top of it with the new hybrid system. I don't think he feels
the conditions all month. The conditions, especially last weekend, Mac. So, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't great. So, I feel like he hasn't been at home in the car, but we know how talented he is. So, I agree. He should be able to at least carve his way up to the field, at least in the top 10. But I don't know if he gets that break or if something happens that allows him to get up to the top 5 or the lead.
So, what I kind of have a feeling is going to happen is going to work out great for Larson is with Newgarden, Power starting in the back. I think they're going to catch him. They're going to pass him, and he is just going to follow them. And he's going to learn and study them. And at the end of this race, Kyle Larson's going to be there top 5-ish battling. So that's just what I think I could see happening.
It'd be really cool if it's in the final. I said to Mac last week, I was like, we get down to it, final 20 laps, and it's Palou versus Larson, like the best driver in IndyCar and the best driver in NASCAR going at it for the Indy 500. That would be pretty dope. Just saying. I don't think that's going to happen, but if that is what we got, I'm not going to be angry. I'm just going to say I'll be pretty happy. I'll be doing the Birdman meme on my couch. Just rubbing my hands together. I gave out my long shot / dark horse as Connor Daly. I think his car's been great. He's starting 13th. Mac knows this. 3 years ago, I picked Marcus Ericsson. Nailed it. Awesome. Bing, bang, bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Was on that shit. The year after, Mac knows this. I wanted to pick Joseph Newgarden. He started 13th. Didn't have the balls to do it. He then won the race. I texted him. We texted all race. I said during the race when he was like top 5, I was like, I should have picked him. And then he won. Daly's kind of reminds me of that. Like, I'm not going to pick Daly because I don't have the stones to do it, but I'd love him as a dark horse. I definitely think he will lead again. He will find a way to lead, and I think his car is really good. I love what Hunkos has done, and him since he's got to Hunkos. Like, think of the at the ovals, he was awesome at Milwaukee last year. I know it's a different track, obviously, but on the ovals, he's been really, really good. Mac, we'll go to you, and then real quick to Andrew. Like a long shot dark horse type pick that you're really intrigued
My
in.
pick is going to be he's going to be in row 5, and it's going to be Ed Carpenter. I think he has been really quick all weekend, starts 14th. And so it's kind of in that sweet spot where he could, if everything goes right, I mean, we know how good he is in his racecraft. So he could definitely be up there by the end of the race.
It's not a bad one at all. I think all 3 ECR cars have a good shot. Christian Rasmussen, please stop crashing in turn 2. Andrew, where you long shot wise, what are you seeing that's tasty? Who's a dark horse type pick?
See, I'm not sure if it's a long shot just because I'm not that Indy car-ish, but I mean, odds wise, Christian on guard at 20-1. It's a fast team. Like I said, just watching their cars in practice and qualifying, it's like he's got something. It's just
he has found his rhythm, Mac. The more like the further we've gotten along in the month, kind of struggled at some points. The first qualifying run,
so he didn't have the best speed Saturday, but he found it when he needed it.
Wasn't good on Fast Friday, was really kind of nowhere on Saturday, and then all of a sudden, holy hot dogs, we're in the Fast 12. He's going to start, I think he's starting 11th. And
8th.
Or he's starting 8th, okay. Oh, yeah,
Connor Daly
because
starts
the
11th.
Penske. You're right, I'm dumb. Yeah, Daly starts 11th. The Penske penalties / them being the one, I forgot. Man, it's racking my brain for where guys are starting. So he's starting 8th. He's fine. And all year he's been good. Like, Alex Palou has been the best driver in IndyCar this year by 12 miles. Kirkwood is now second in points, but Lundgaard was literally neck and neck with Palou all year so far. He's got multiple second place finishes. Kirkwood's second in points for now. He's the only other guy to win. He won at Long Beach, other than Palou. But Lundgaard, and here's the thing too, this is the first time Lundgaard will have been at Indy with a race-winning capable team. The years before it was with Rahal. He always qualified terribly. And now he's starting up front. I think
too.
Exactly. He would drive through the field, be in the top 15. Andrew, I think that's a fantastic long shot pick, even though it's not super long shotty from an IndyCar perspective. But like, I think if at the end of the day, if Lundgaard is in it to win it, I think some people will be shocked. So I think that's a fantastic shout. All right. Last thing to get to, and then we can hit the hay.
Are we going to talk about the Weenie 500 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's winning? The Weenie 500. Baloney. Let's go racing, boys. All right. We're going to start with Mac, then we'll go to Andrew, and then I'll finish it off. Mac Fulton. Who is winning?
Just doing winner?
I mean, what do you want to do?
It's up to you guys.
Have we done it different? Have we done it? How different? I mean, how have we done it usually when it comes to Indy? I know we have our own system for Formula One, but how have we predicted?
I think we
give a dark horse pick. Okay.
I think we did top 3.
All right. Okay, so give 2 guys you think will be in it, and then who do you think's going to win?
The 2 guys that I think will be in it. This one won't be, but my best pick of the last weekend was David Malukas being in the Fast 12. But we continue.
Absolutely nailed it.
Guy to be in it, Connor Daly. I just think if he would be able to win the 500, it would be probably the craziest reaction from the fans' perspective, just because he's an Indiana guy. I think that'd be a really cool story. I think Rossi's another guy that I think could drive his way up there. Very good at Indy. He has a win. I mean, multiple top 5 finishes at McLaren. I think he could definitely be in it. And then for the win,
Go on,
do I
Mac.
do
You know you
do
you
I
know you
do
want to do
it?
it.
Who do you think I'm gonna pick?
The same guy you always fucking pick.
No, not this year.
Okay, then I
We're
have
gonna
no
go.
idea.
We're gonna go Pato Award to win. He is due. Like there is no driver out there that is more due than Pato Award at Indy.
Okay. He has done it. He has picked Patricio Award. It's the thing is that he absolutely has, like last year he did not have a race winning car. And he absolutely hauled that thing to the front of the field and gave himself a chance. Him starting third, I think it's the most underrated story of everything, is that as my guy Nate DeSmits in the comments, I don't know how to pull comments for Restream, but I have my Facebook app open. He said, how do you spell that? If you're looking to bet on it, Nate, just look up Indy 500, Pato, and then it's O''WARD, Pato Award. Shout out to the GOAT, the ninja himself. I love the pick. Might have been my pick. Now I can't take it because Mac did it. But I could if I really wanted to. So Nate, if you go on FanDuel right now, he's the favorite. Pato, Pato. It's the man.
Same with DraftKings.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Andrew, your thoughts? 2 guys that you see will be in the fight, and then who's winning?
Yeah, so Rossi was going to be one of my guys. We talked about it on my show a little bit. Scott Dixon's another guy that just, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be possibly up there competing. And I wanted to go with Award, but I can't do that now. So, I mean, it's like
you can. You can.
To
but
be
if
fair,
all 3 of us pick Award, that's lame.
Well, I mean, I did mention on my show that I'm gonna probably have a Pato plus the Cubs on Monday, just because that's where I'm going. Just a parlay to see what it ends up being, but
just a little parlay, not won't hurt nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that I mean, Award's definitely one of the guys I think's got the best shots of winning, but man, Scott McLaughlin was another guy, but just with how his week's going, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be Pato. I mean, obviously, for me. I hate to say it. I want to go different, but I can't.
Now I have to not pick him to win.
I know. I mean, it's the starting position, like you said. The other guys up there, it's kind of like an inverse field, and then it's him. They're just handing him the start of this race.
I do think there's a world where him and Sato pass Schwartzman going into turn 1, and then Pato passes Sato. Pato passes Sato going into turn 3. Pato leads lap 1, and the place will literally melt. I don't know if I was really going to pick him, but man, I kind of wanted to, but both of you douchebags did, so now I can't officially. Because if we all pick the same guy, that's boring, and I'm here for excitement. So one of the guys I think is going to be in the race, speaking of excitement, is Alex Palou. I will also put Pato Award as one of the guys I think will be in. I think both of those guys are going to factor into this race on Sunday. I think they're both going to be in it. Palou, even though he does not have an Indy 500 or never has won on an oval, he's got 27, 28 wins, 29 wins, all on road and street courses. This dude's not an oval novice by any means. He's come close. He's just never won. Could have easily won the Indy 500 the year Elio Castroneves did in 2021, but he came up short. Elio was able to outfox him. Pato, of course, obviously he's been the darling the last 2 years. He has come up just shy, or the last 3 years really. He was second 3 years ago. He crashed going for it all 2 years ago, and then last year had the lead going into turn 3 and got passed with a lap to go. So I think both of those guys are going to factor into the race. For me to actually put a prediction down, it is tough because, like, if Kyle Kirkwood wouldn't have absolutely bungled qualifying, I probably would have been picking him. I was planning on it, but he was awful in qualifying. Colton Herta, I picked him last year. He did great until he didn't. I think Robert Schwartzman's going to be good in the early stages of the race, but I think that eventually he will kind of fall back a bit. He's got a really fast car. I just don't think he's going to be able to keep it up front. So with all that being said, I am going to pick to win the Indianapolis 500.
You want Fro. Come on now.
Huh?
You want Rosenquist.
I picked him 2 years ago, and I just don't trust him when it comes to the race. That's the thing.
Marcus
Come on now.
Ericsson.
You can't pick against the Creed car.
I would love to go higher. I would have my arm. If Felix Rosenquist wins, I will have my arms wide open. I don't know if I'm going to have I don't know if I'm going to sacrifice anything, but I will definitely be I will definitely be there. You know what, man? If someone's going to do it, Mac's not going to pick him. I think I'm going to. He's come so damn close every other year in multiple ways. They're not the best team like they were the few years over the recent times that he's dominated. They're there, and I think that the Ganassis are going to be probably the best team on Sunday. I think Scott Dixon. That's where I'm going to go. I want to pick Pato O'Ward, but the other two jackasses did, so I can't. But I'm going to pick Scott Dixon. And I can't pick Alex Palou. He's literally won every other race. So I'm going to pick Scott Dixon. Connor Daly's my long shot. Picking Scott Dixon is official. Pato O'Ward. If he does win, I'll probably shed tears because, God, that'll be so great. Be really happy if he wins. What would be a more popular win? Oh, Daly or O'Ward?
Connor Daly.
Right? Like it has to be Daly, right?
If this track was anywhere other than Indiana, it would be O'Ward. But since it's in Indiana, it has to be Connor Daly.
With that being said, though, I do think that it's a close second. Pato's a close second.
Oh yeah,
right.
100%.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. With all that being said, we did great. Hands in, 1, 2, 3 team. I'm going to go eat food now because that's where I'm at. I haven't ate in like 9 hours and I'm starving. Mac, it was a pleasure. Andrew, it was great to do this. First time we've actually done a show together like this. We did back-to-back, and now we're best friends.
Yeah.
Enjoy Indy 500 Sunday, everybody. Enjoy Memorial Day Sunday. Monaco, Indy, Charlotte. Do the trifecta like a real man.
MotoGP also.
Do the quadfecta like a real man. I mean, do them all. Do the five-fecta with the wiener race on Friday. Yeah, look at it. Yeah.
I'm mad I'm going to miss that. I'm not going to be up there on Friday. Going up Saturday.
Will one of the Wienermobiles make it into the snake pit? Like,
they should have put car 34.
Car 34, absolutely. All right.
I just want to see one of them wreck the other one. Like, how awesome would that be? Just put one of them into the wall.
What's the downforce on a car-sized hot dog? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like a lot of drag. All right. Regardless, should be a fun weekend. We thank everybody hanging out with us. This has been the Educated Ignorance Podcast. If you ain't got your game, you best pass the sticks. We will see you next time, whenever that will be. We'll see y'all soon. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy Memorial Day. We are out, y'all. Peace.